What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan. Today, we're going all in. As we go into the next year, as we go through this year, I want to give you some advice personally today and things that have changed my life and things that I know will change your life too. And I say this, over the year, right? But here's the thing. It's like, this isn't something that's meant to be time bound. So I'm not going to say, hey, do these things and watch your life be different a year from now. No, it's actually do these things and you're going to start to see your life being different pretty much immediately. And you're going to end up seeing the outcomes a year from now looking back, but even 2 years from now looking back, even just 3 months from now looking back, you're going to see a difference on these things when you implement these things into your life. And these are things that I've done personally that I continue to do. And that's how I'm able to continue to accelerate forward and do everything that I do and carry the loads that I carry and do everything else. So here's the first one. You need to get yourself a mentor. Now, whatever this looks like to you, I have several at any time, and I've gone through many in my life. I say gone through. It's not like I use them and I expend them. It's just that at some point in time, you can have different mentors for yourself for different areas of your life, but even more so for different seasons of your life. You might even think of this person as like a therapist or something like that, right? Just somebody who can get there. Now, these individual mentors or these coaches, these people will get you to a certain area that has to do with their expertise. And then at that point, I would hope anyways, that you find a mentor that will sit with you to the point to where it's like, I hope that you outgrow me. Those are the ones to look for. It's like this, you want almost like an outcome, a desired end state from this specific mentor, not this ongoing thing. Unless that person continues to evolve themselves. And that's one thing I notice is that a lot of mentors, coaches, they get to a certain point and then they just stop and they just get into that. It's like they're not doing the stuff anymore that got them to that point. And that's okay because they can still teach everything that they've learned up until that point. But after that point, I would hope, and anybody that I've ever coached, anybody that I've ever talked to, I love to see them go beyond me in whatever area it is. There's no ego, there's no pride, because that is me setting them up for success. It's just like right at Reach Out. I never expect anybody to be here for their life. Now, that would be cool if on those cases where it is, right? Some that grow with the company and help build the company and no matter what area you're in. But it can also be, and this is where the ego gets killed because it doesn't exist in this. It would also be amazing if you learned some skills and then you went on to enrich some other people's lives in a different company and some more customers and all that too. It's the same scenario, right? So when you get a mentor, understand that could just be for a season of your life. And that's perfectly okay. And make sure that they know that too, and that they are perfectly okay with that. And that they're taking this outlook on this whole mentor-mentee relationship. It's amazing, and it will absolutely change your life. I've said this over and over again. The only reason I am where I am today is because of the mentors that I've had along the way. I know you rhyme, you sound smart, right? Whatever. All right, the second one is that you have to people say set goals. I'm not going to say set goals. I'm going to say set a desired end state. Now that could be something that you have in a specific area of your life, because goals, you can miss them. Okay. I'm thinking soccer. I played soccer for 4 years. You might not have known that. I always talk about baseball, but I played soccer for 4 years and I was a goalie and a striker. But most of the time I spent time as a goalie. I could block that ball better than most anybody that was in the league. It was awesome. Right. And when I take a look, envision a soccer goal, you know how many misses people had versus how many scores that they had? Huge, right? The ratio just isn't there. And this isn't a talk about failure. This is a talk about how setting goals, to me, that phrase is stupid. Because a desired end state means that that's the outcome. There's no other option. A goal means you can hit it or you can miss it. Right? But a desired end state is saying, I am getting there. That is where I will be. And no matter what happens, I will figure out the how, the what, the when, everything that's needed in order to get to that place in my life. It is non-negotiable. That's what a desired end state is. This could be for a specific area of your life or for your entire life. And I'm going to say this, don't think 50 years out. At this point, don't think 50 years out. Think like 6 months. Try 6 months on for size. Try a year on for size. right? Just envisioning, and this is not to set a deadline either. I don't want you setting a deadline on this desired end state, because then that puts undue stress and pressure and anxiety on you and then it becomes a goal because you're either going to hit or miss it by that deadline. No, a desired end state in your personal life is saying, I will get there. And when you remove that stress of a timeline, you will actually find that you get there faster, because now all you're focusing on is the how and the what and new skills and everything you have to learn. And a mentor can help you with this. If you have a mentor that says set goals, you know what? Just tell them, hey, you know what? I don't really believe in goals, and you can probably enlighten them too. What I believe is in a desired end state, because I don't want to either hit or miss it. I just want it to happen, period. Non-negotiable. This is what I'm looking for. Tracking with me? Yes. Say aye wherever you're at. All right. The third one I'm going to give you for this next year, and this one's a big one. I've talked about this on the podcast. Listen to past episodes a lot. Okay, this is something you need to focus on this next year, is remove negative people from your life. Remove negative people from your life. This one's important to me. I've had friends and I've lost friends over the years. Even one specifically who actually I brought on to reach out a little while back as my assistant. A dude I grew up with, a best friend of mine. I hadn't talked to him in a while, but I'm like, man, knowing what I knew of him, he would fit this really, really well. And it ended up being that there was just such a negative aura that this guy brought into the office every single day that it became the most logical, in addition to both the easiest and hardest choice that I've ever had to make in my life when it came to a friendship. When I took a look around and I saw that I was the one that caused this by allowing that negativity into the space, I was the one that had to take responsibility to remove it. Now, notice what I said. This has to do with your life too, is when you allow that negativity to come into your space, you also have to take the responsibility to remove it. This is the time. This is the place. Do an inventory of your life and the people that are in your inner circle. You'll start smiling more. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel like you can actually reach that desired end state when you start to do these things. That one was deep. Now, number 4. People call them habits, and there's a great book out there called Atomic Habits that I would actually encourage everybody who's listening, watching to read or listen to. I listen to audiobooks. If you've been watching me for a long time, you know that, right? That I listen to audiobooks. That's how I consume books. I consume a lot of them a year. One of the amazing books that's out there is called Atomic Habits. And people talk about habits all the time, and it takes time to build them. I like to call them disciplines, or even more so, I like to call them routines. One of the biggest things and one of the biggest reasons for success in my life is how I start my days. And I've talked about this so many times that I'm not going to go deep into exactly what I do, but everybody needs to have a routine when they get up in the mornings, because that sets you up for the day, for the entire day. No matter what happens after that point, you know that you are already starting the day in a position. It's like you already won. For me, it's breakfast, workout, shower, out, right? And during breakfast, I read news, I listen to audiobooks while I work out, and then that's it. That is it. That's it. It doesn't have to be complex. It just has to be consistent. Your disciplines and your routines do not have to be complex. They just have to be consistent. As you continue to go through this, you'll start to see that you'll get more done during the day because you already feel like you got the whole morning taken care of and you won whatever that is for the first 2 or 3 hours of your day. You got it handled. If you have kids, I get it, right? I've had kids. I've had twins. Deal with that as far as setting a routine, right? See if you can handle that crap. You know, when me, it was the first ones. I didn't have a single and then multiples. No, so I didn't know any different. It's just what it was. But you still had to do it. You still just went through it, and people are like, oh, it must have been so hard. I'm like, I just did it. I just set what I needed to, and I still got my stuff done during that time period because I enrolled my kids, my twins, my newborns into what I was doing. And that could be, I see moms all the time, like taking their kid into the bathroom, right? While they're showering, you know, putting them in the baby carrier. That's one thing I did, right? The carrier that went in the car, I still put it in the bathroom. I put the kids in those seats and took them into the bathrooms with me because that way they wouldn't be all over before they were crawling, right? But then they'd be okay. They'd just be sitting there. Fastest showers I ever took in my life, I can tell you that much. But still, you figure it out. So no matter what you have right now, no matter what you think is screwing you up, this becomes one of those non-negotiables, is your morning routine. Keep building that and keep figuring out what this systematic process is for you in the mornings to already win your day before they even start. Now, the fifth one that I'm going to give you, this one gets a little deep too. This is taking learnings from your failures. Now, as you take a look back through your life, I'm sure you can find places. You're probably thinking of them right now. Maybe you're even thinking you're in a failure position right now. You could be, right? And that's truth, because I've talked plenty of times about how you have to accept where you are and the reality of the scenario before you can move forward. And as soon as you have that acceptance, that's when regret goes away. And you can actually start moving forward towards what you need to, as far as being grateful for everything that you have. And one of the learnings that you can have from those past mistakes is that you can be grateful for the learnings that you took from them. Taking the learnings from your past mistakes and failures is something that you can apply today. And it allows you to actually, this is so important, it allows you to actually give meaning to those failures, give meanings to those temporary defeats. Rather than being in a victim place and be, oh, that happened to me. Now you get to decide what it meant for you to move forward into what this earth, this planet, this universe has for you. You get to decide the meaning of those, not somebody else, not somebody external, because that's you learning and applying the meaning from those. And you can actually even detach the emotions from it, because the emotions were in that spot. You might have gone through waves, right? Maybe it was a horrible breakup and you went through waves after that, whatever, right? You can take meaning from that. You get to apply the meaning that you want it to have in your life by learning from it. This requires awareness. This requires having an objective point of view, which is hard when it's your own self. It's really hard when it's your own self. But if you start to just look at what you know, what is actually fact, and you get to apply the meaning to that, and that meaning is meant to propel you forward, not keep you stuck in the present or in the past. That's the one qualifier that I'm going to give you about applying the meaning to your past learnings. Is that it's meant to propel you forward. Whatever you decide the meaning is for those events in your life, it is meant to propel you forward, not keep you stuck in the present where you're at right now or regretting the past mistakes. You take these 5 things. It's not like this next year is going to look different for you. The next 50 years, the rest of your entire life is going to look different for you. Say goodbye to anxiety, say goodbye to depression, say goodbye to anything that's weighing you down, because when you apply these, you begin to redefine you for the remainder of your years on this earth. Have an amazing week. This was amazing. I love this. I love you all. I don't have anything else. All right. Love it. Hit me up. I say that all the time. I know I was called out on that, right? That I say hit me up, but I say that because I mean it, right? JT and I'm going to call him out today. JT hit me up and we're talking about some personal stuff with him. I'm not going to say what it is. I know he wouldn't mind me saying this, right? But we're getting him through some cool things. And he's going to see some changes here in the next 6 months. I'm excited for him and I want to be excited for you too. All right. Have a good week. If I had a mic, I'd drop it right now. There we go.